Reactions have continued to trail the declaration of a total nationwide strike effective on Tuesday, November 14, 2023, by the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress. The two unions reached the resolution after an extraordinary National Executive Council meeting on Tuesday in Abuja. The two major labour unions say nationwide mobilization of members and allies have begun immediately. The action by the Organised Labour followed the brutalization of NLC National President Ajaero last week in Imo State, southeast Nigeria. There had been widespread outrage by Labour accusing the Commissioner of Police in Imo State, Mohammed Barde, of complicity in the attack on Ajaero. Now, joining me to speak more on this is Ireoluwa Oguntuase, a labour law expert. Good morning and thank you for joining me, Ireoluwa.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and good morning, Nigerians.
All right, so this seems to be, the first time Labour will be declaring a nationwide strike over the brutalization of a member. What do you make of this?
Okay, let me first condemn in total terms the brutalization of the NLC president. I will say as the lawyer, it is totally unconstitutional. It is against particularly Chapter 4, Section 39 of the 1999 Constitution that guarantees freedom of expression. It is also against Chapter 4, Section 34 of the 1999 Constitution that guarantees right to dignity of human person. Now, that being said, and let me also address the attitude of politicians as to always suppressing the truth from coming out. Now, prior to this time, I have heard it personally that the government of Imo State is owing the workers some salary. Coincidentally, I was in Imo like 3 weeks, a month ago, and that will be the first time, I will go to Imo State. It's such a beautiful city. And I've had cause to also make friends with some people in Imo State. And I have cause to ask them some questions. And they confirmed this thing, that the government has been owing them salary. But I didn't know that it's up to 20 months. And I say that if this is actually true, has been communicated to me by some of the employees in Imo State, government employees in Imo State, is totally unheard of. And I'm shocked. In fact, I can't imagine how they'll be living. So I think to that extent, I support greatly the action of the NLC in trying to ensure that justice is done. Because, part of the responsibilities of the government as an employer is to ensure that salaries are being paid. And that's been well constructed in Section 1 of the Labour Act. Now, that being said again, I would also condemn that the attitude of the police in all this is very, very suspicious. And why did I say that the attitude is suspicious? Is because we can all see that the president of the NLC was brutalized. Now, and the president of the NLC and other patriots had come out to say that the police is responsible. Now, for the police to now come out and say that they are merely protecting the president as a result of the action of the mob, I will ask, who are the mob that are trying to lynch the president of the NLC? And if are the police not aware, and what are the efforts that they took towards protecting the president?
Now, still talking about the police.
Hello?
Yes, the Imo State Commissioner of Police, Mohammed Barde, was implicated in the incident and he was accused of complicity. Now, what are your thoughts on the call for his redeployment by the unions, especially now that the 5-day ultimatum given has elapsed?
Of course, I'm totally in support of the call by the union for his redeployment. Now, the reason I've said this is because the police are supposed to be impartial. They're supposed, by virtue of the Police Act, they're supposed to protect, the lives of the citizens. They're supposed to maintain internal peace and security. And they're also supposed to be apolitical. They are not supposed to support anybody, irrespective of whose ox is God. They're only supposed to maintain justice. So for them to have been fingered or for them to have been indicted in ensuring that the truth is suppressed, in ensuring that the freedom of expression is gagged, I think is totally suspicious and it should not be encouraged. So for me, I totally support the action. I totally support the voice of the NLC towards the redeployment of the Commissioner of Police in Imo State. I totally in support of it because truth will be suppressed, justice will be suppressed, and that shouldn't be so.
It is alleged that the Imo State government was also responsible for the attack, which the government or the state government has actually denied. It's now 2 days to the governorship poll, and Labour has banned flights to Imo and also blacklisted Governor Hope Uzodinma. They further threatened to ground Abuja and Lagos airports as well. Now, do you think this would actually affect the governor's re-election chances?
Of course, this is really coming at the wrong time. And I would say that this is coming at the wrong time. Now, as individuals, I expect us to be very conscious of when to act, at some specific times. And I think to a very great extent, this will not only affect the chances, it would also have an impact, a negative impact on the people that will come out to vote, because there will be apprehension of insecurity, and it will reduce it will encourage voter apathy in such a way that the voters will not have the confidence to come out to vote. They'll be thinking that there is going to be insecurity. So, and the incumbent government should also understand the fact that there are oppositions, and the oppositions are coming to push them out of government. And this is a government that even assumed the seat of power not as a result of the political vote, but as a result of the Supreme Court judgment. So I think the government needs to be very circumspect in ensuring that this situation doesn't escalate more than this. I think in all of this, the government and the NLC should come to a roundtable and talk about how this can be effectively resolved. What I understand to be is that when elections are coming, the government, as much as possible, try to dance to the tune of the people, to placate them and not the other way around. It's the people that will vote and no other person, except we're already impugning, except we're already thinking that there's going to be other people that will vote apart from the electorate. So in all of this, I expect the government to call the NLC to a roundtable discussion. I also expect the government to come out and address the allegations, against it by the NLC. Because part of the allegations, in addition to non-payment of salary for 20 months, is also declaring 11,000 workers as ghost workers. Is also declaring 10,000 pensioners as ghost pensioners. So I think in all of this, the government needs to come out and make specific statements in debunking all the statements. And not only making specific statements, the government should also come out to provide evidence so that the Imo citizens, the Imolite, can be well assuaged that if they vote against this government, they are not going to witness something like this.
For joining me on the news this morning and speaking on this.
Yeah, thank you for having me.